Pretty much everything in our modern world is built on one thing: connectivity. From the AI that powers our apps to the smart devices all around us, it all depends on having instant, seamless access to data. But as our appetite for that data just keeps growing and growing, it's creating a huge challenge for the very foundation of our digital lives.
And that's where we hit a bottleneck. The sheer amount of data coming from, say, high-resolution video, all those countless smart devices, and really demanding AI applications, well, it's starting to choke our existing network infrastructure. So the big question we have to ask is, can the networks we have today actually handle the future we're all trying to build?
To really wrap our heads around the solution, we've got to go right to the heart of the digital universe, the data center. This is basically ground zero for the data explosion, and it's where the most powerful hardware on the planet is working 24/7 to keep everything flowing. So, let's kick things off at the largest scale, taking a look at the incredible technology that powers the very core of the network.
This right here is the core switch. The best way to think of it is as the master traffic controller for a massive network. It's not just some router, it's more like a gigantic, multi-level highway interchange, but for data, directing information between different data centers and the wider internet at absolutely mind-boggling speeds. And when I say mind-boggling, I am not exaggerating. A high-end core switch can handle something like 6.4 terabits per second. To put that into perspective for you, that's enough bandwidth to download over 100 full-length, high-def movies every single second. That's the kind of raw power we are talking about here.
Okay, so this diagram really shows you the whole hierarchy. See that 100G core switch sitting right there at the top? It's the central backbone that connects all the other parts of the data center. And here's the key takeaway. Everything happening below it completely depends on the power and the reliability of this one core piece of hardware.
So that's the core. Now let's scale it down from these huge data centers to something a little more relatable for all of us, the modern business or, say, a university campus.
A big organization is really just a network in miniature. You've got multiple buildings, different floors, maybe thousands of users, and they all need to communicate with each other seamlessly. It's this complex web that needs some really smart traffic management to make it all work without a hitch.
And this is where different types of switches come into play. A Layer 3 or L3 switch, that's like your local post office. It's smart enough to route traffic between totally separate networks, like different departments that need to talk to each other. On the other hand, a Layer 2 Plus or L2 Plus switch is more like the mailroom inside a single building. It's sorting traffic within one network. This is perfect for, say, a small business that needs to make sure video calls or security feeds always get top priority.
All right, now let's zoom in even further, right down to the very edge of the network. This is where all the infrastructure actually connects to the high-tech devices we're all using every single day.
And here's where we run into a classic problem: the future running smack into the past. We've got these incredible, powerful new devices, right? Like advanced security cameras that can pan, tilt, and zoom, or the latest Wi-Fi 7 access points. But they need to run on the same old network cables that are already inside the walls of millions of buildings. And the problem is, these new gadgets are power hungry, and they need way more electricity than those old cables were ever designed to handle.
So that raises a pretty critical question, doesn't it? What do you do? Are you supposed to just rip out all your old wiring and start over just to keep up? Or is there a smarter way to power the future?
Well, the answer is a technology that honestly feels a little like magic. It's called Power over Ethernet, or PoE, and it is an absolute game changer because it sends both your data and electrical power over the exact same standard network cable. Think about that. It simplifies installation like you wouldn't believe and just slashes costs.
And the newest version, it's called PoE++, is just incredibly powerful. It can pump out up to 90 watts of power to a single device. That is more than enough juice to run even really demanding hardware, like a high-speed PTZ camera or a heavy-duty outdoor access point, all through that one little Ethernet cable.
But it's not just about power. There's also something called multi-gigabit technology. Now, this innovation lets you boost your network speed by up to 10 times without having to replace a single cable you already have. What that really means is you get a massive performance upgrade without the huge cost and disruption of a full rewiring project. It's a huge win.
So we've got the power, we've got the speed. Now let's talk about the brains of the operation. Let's take a look at how AI is completely changing the game in areas like security, surveillance. You see, old security systems, they just recorded video. That's it. The new generation of surveillance is all about actually understanding what's happening in that video. We're moving away from just passive recording to active, intelligent analysis.
So what can this AI actually do? Well, it can tell the difference between a person and a swaying tree, which means no more false alarms in the middle of the night. It can let you draw a virtual line in the sand and get an alert the second someone crosses it. It can even scan hours and hours of footage to find a specific person's face in just a few seconds. This is what makes security proactive instead of just reactive.
Okay, so we've looked at the powerful core, the connected campus, the supercharged edge, and the intelligence layer. Now let's see how all of these pieces of the puzzle click together.
From that massive data center core to the campus switches, all the way down to the AI-powered camera at the edge, these technologies aren't isolated little gadgets. They form a single, cohesive ecosystem that's designed to create a network that is faster, more powerful, and genuinely smarter from end to end.
The bottom line is this. Our demand for data and connectivity is only going to accelerate from here. The AI revolution is really just getting warmed up. So the final question isn't if you need a more powerful network, but whether the one you have today is truly built to handle what's coming next.